Start with one of the 1-inch pine rounds that I get from Home Depot. I already sanded it and all that jazz. And I am going to take my painter's tape and we are going to paint it off at an angle. I'm going to grab my sponge roller and I am actually going to be using crisp linen bare like household like wall paint. I have a bunch of samples and I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and try this out. I always use chalk paint, but you know, gotta use what you have. So I'm gonna do 2 coats of this. Usually anything I use for my wood rounds are gonna be in my Amazon link in the description box, so feel free to check that out. After the 2 coats are on there, we are then going to take that painter's tape and we are gonna move it over onto our white paint. Now, you guys know if you've watched my wood rounds, I always usually stain the entire wood round before I do any painting. But I am seeing a lot more, like if you saw that other one that I tried from Painted by Mandy, a lot of people are painting and then staining. So, you know, why not keep it going? So I'm going to use Weathered Oak by Varathane. I'm going to use my microfiber cloth and I am going to stain the front, the sides, and the back. Now, y'all, if you are planning on selling these, I sell mine for $55. Stain the dang back, make it look like a finished, cohesive wood project. Don't leave the back plain. It also helps seal the wood as well. So take that little added step. All right, so I cut 2 images and I cut them way too big and I wasn't about to waste it. So I was like, you know what? I am going to make one of these work. So I took my hello, I cut it's going to say, I hope you brought pumpkin spice lattes. And I cut the hello out. And then I'm using Aura Mask 813 stencil vinyl and Transfer Ease transfer tape. I'm going to peel that back. We are going to use this, it's like bronzed metal by Folk Art. Now she uses this beautiful like orangey bronze color. And I prefer hers so much more because I feel like this came out looking like a tannish brown color, and once I cleared it, I really didn't get that metallic look out of it like hers does. So it is what it is. It still came out cute, but we're going to do 2 coats of this color. Then we're going to peel that off. Look at how nice and crisp that is. And I will weed out everything in those letters. Now I'm going to take that second transfer and I'm going to put it over to the side. In my original design, it says, hello, ... I hope you brought pumpkin spice lattes, like over to the right. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to make it work. And I wasn't about to waste all of this stencil vinyl. So taking my stencil brush, I am just going to pounce 2 coats of that in. Then we will take Rust-Oleum Clear Matte. I'm going to spritz a little over the top so our paint doesn't spread. Then we'll take it back inside. I'm going to grab Varathane Spar Urethane water base. Do not get oil based or your white paint, any paint, will turn yellow on you. I put 2 coats on the front and the back. This is going to seal it and help protect it from any of the outside elements. After that is completely dry, we're going to flip it on around. We are going to use D-hooks. She uses staples and ribbon. That's totally okay. I prefer D-hooks because it holds a larger amount of weight and I just think it's a little bit more sturdy. Now I take my wired jute cord. I get this from Dollar Tree. She uses ribbon and I used to use ribbon in the beginning as well. However, I really liked how thin this was because on my door we have just like a little screw and the ribbon didn't really fit in there. So I ended up changing it to this and it works extremely well. Okay, you guys, this is where it gets crazy. So I kept watching her TikToks and she like dissembles pics and then she staples everything onto her board. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not my jam. This is, I would not do this again. But everybody has their way of doing things and she does a really good job at putting her floral arrangement together. So I think how I messed up here was one, I wasn't good at doing this floral arrangement laying down, but I had started stapling pieces to the wood round. And before I was done, I stapled on that larger orange pumpkin because to me in my mind, I was like, well, this is basically the main piece of it, so I want to build around it. But then it made it 10 times harder to staple things on. Oh, and then Nat, oh my gosh, Nat, thank you so much. She actually has a channel, you guys. I'm going to leave it in the description box. She sent me these cheetah pumpkins, and y'all know I've been obsessed with cheetah, and it worked so good. I did have to hot glue it on because, like I said, that pumpkin, that orange pumpkin was in the way, so I couldn't staple anything under it anymore. Then we get to the ribbon. You guys, I did try a regular bow, and that was just a hot mess, like a boiling hot mess. So I decided to go with a raffia bow. I thought it kind of fit in with like the boho, the cream colors, kind of is rustic boho a thing? We're making it a thing right here, right now. And I'm going to hot glue that on. I would advise if you live in like hot climates to put some E6000 on that puppy so it doesn't go anywhere or melt. And that is it. I do like how it turned out. I think it's crazy how we all have just like our different versions of doing things, because she makes this look absolutely stunning and like effortless in her videos. And it took me a long while to get this floral arrangement how I wanted to, but I hope that it inspires you. Definitely check her out. I know I have a lot of wood round fans here. You will definitely appreciate her work. Next one is inspired by 34 Decor. I shouldn't say inspired because I literally did exactly what she did. Usually I kind of make it my own and put a twist on it, but not this time. I'm going to leave her link down in the description box for you guys. I am using random cuts of wood. Like random, you guys, I did not measure these. They were just sitting on the workbench. So I'm going to keep with using black velvet for these. And I'm going to paint the front, the back, and these sides. These are going to be considered shelf sitters, so you want to make sure that you are painting the backs of them as well because they will show. I'm going to grab the ephemeral, you guys, did you hear me? I got it, stamp from IOD. And I am going to be using the white mixing ink from IOD. So you guys, if you grab that, if you order anything, make sure to grab the 3-pack of the empty ink bottles. This way you can start mixing your own colors. I tell you, it is so much fun, and I have all the colors like red, there's green, there's like a bright blue, a dark blue, gray, yeah. So anyways, I stamp it, I ink it up with the white mixing ink, and then I'm going to press it down with my hand as I'm holding it with one hand. And then we're going to lift off. Lift off. There we go. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. This is going to be like most used stamp besides my texture stamp for sure. So again, I'm going to do the same thing on the second piece of wood. I don't know if she used white paint or the white ink. White paint will give you a brighter finish. So we're going to go into the gilded transfer, you guys. And the more I looked at her inspiration, she only used like bits and pieces. I ended up using a whole sheet on it, but you know, it's all right. This is how I made it my own. And to be completely honest, these are like using regular transfers, in my opinion. I do the same steps that I usually do, where I am pulling up on the sheet as I'm pressing down with the little plastic stick they come with. And you can even use, once you're done with this, the sheet, you know, the carrier sheet, you can use that again, which is really cool. So you're kind of getting like double the value out of this booklet here. So I'm going to continue to do that all the way down, and I'm going to show you as I'm pilling it up, you guys, how gorgeous this gold is. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I kind of rub it down. You can't really like burnish it because obviously you don't have that carrier sheet anymore, but I'm going to put that carrier sheet back on here so I can use that for something else. I've seen people using these on amber bottles, so now I'm on the hunt, you guys. I am on the hunt. I'm going to use the pumpkin from the Hello Pumpkin mold. Unfortunately, it is a retired mold. I do sell the resin pieces of the pumpkins on my website. I'm going to dip into Summer Crush once again. And basically, I'm going to paint the entire pumpkin, even the leaves, because the leaves were so detailed. I was having a hard time staying in my lines. So I painted everything. Then as that one is drying, I'm going to take one of these sunflower molds and I painted it with Queen Bee, and then I'm going to paint the middle with chocolate, layered chocolate. And after that one dries, we are going to go back into, I think, the pumpkin. Hold on. What's coming next, you guys? I don't know. Oh, then I take what was left on my brush and I start kind of outlining the petals on this sunflower. So instead of using wax or something like that, I was just trying something different and new, and I really like how it turned out. All right, for the leaves on the pumpkin, I am going to use Fancy Farm Girl, and it turned out so pretty. I love this green. I'm also going to use this green on the stem I'm going to use for the sunflower, which I'm going to have to make out of clay because I wanted to be able to set the sunflower on there. So you'll see right here, I have the clay piece for the stem. I put Type Bond Quick and Thick on there, and I'm going to lay that down on my wood sign, maybe any day now. After I drop it, of course. There we go. And I wanted to use the clay versus the resin stem, so that way I could get that sunflower and I could kind of like push it in to the clay so it didn't look disconnected. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Because if I would have just kind of butted up the resin stem, it just wouldn't have looked like a connected piece. You would have seen that separation. And then there's this guy. You guys, he has an entire house he could lay in, and he chooses to lay under the desk. I am pretty tall. Like, there isn't a lot of room, but you know what? He was soft and cozy, so I just decided he would warm my feet. So taking the Type Bond again, we're going to attach the pumpkin to the bottom left. For this one, I was like, I'm digging all of this gilded look. So I'm going to put this pumpkin to the left. Our Inspiration 34 Decor, she uses all different sizes. She cuts like houses. She double stacks them. So definitely check out hers. And then I'm going to take liquid patina. So for those of you that are new, liquid patina is a decoupage medium, but it is also a clear coat. And liquid patina is going to give you a matte finish versus Big Top, which is going to give you just a little bit of a sheen. I prefer the matte look, so that's why I have been using liquid patina a lot. It does not take away from that gilded transfer whatsoever, which you will see in the reveal photo. I decided to put dark wax on my pumpkin because I felt like the details of the pumpkin weren't really coming out, and so I thought, you know what, we'll add the dark wax. That way, see how it just sets in all of the creases in there, and it just makes it look way more defined. So here is how they turned out. Aren't they gorgeous? You could see how that liquid patina did not dull down that gilded transfer whatsoever. I absolutely love these. Make sure to check out 34 Decor's link down in my description box for more fall inspiration. And these I will be selling on my Whatnot show this coming Thursday. I will not keep these because I do have a lot of scrap wood and I can make a lot more of these. I'm going to grab this 1x6. I don't know how long it was. It was a scrap piece of wood. I am taking a baby wipe and burnt umber by Apple Barrel, and I am going to use this as a stain. This is a great way of creating a stain for a wood. You can use absolutely any color you want, and it dries so much faster than an oil-based stain. So I like doing this when I need a quick stain. I need it to dry fast. So I just hit it with the heat gun and it dries. Now I'm going to take, hi you guys, my name's Sammy and I save everything including old pillowcases that get all linty after I wash them. So this is a pillowcase. I'm going to use my IOD stamp, and then I'm going to really put a lot of ink on it. Whenever I'm doing this with fabric, I like to put kind of an excess of ink on there. Then I'm going to press it down. We are then going to cut out our pumpkin. And we're going to do this in a square shape. You can use any fabric you choose to. This is just what I have decided to do. Cut that zipper right off. Now I'm going to take my like vinyl weeding tool, and I'm going to pull the fabric so that I get that frayed look. Now I don't want it like excessively frayed. I just don't want it to look super clean and tidy. So I just pull a few strands to make it look a little bit more rustic. Next we're going, sorry, I like smacked my lips. Next we are going to grab some painter's tape. We are going to tape this down onto our table. I'm going to grab Cake Batter by DIY Paint, and I am using my round tip synthetic makeup brush. Now, Create Your Own Cozy, she puts a couple layers of paint on it, and then she kind of does her own shadowing. But I liked the way that you can see all the details in the stamp come through. So I decided only to do one coat of paint for this. And I love watching other creators because I would have never thought to paint over the stamp itself. So absolutely love this. Now I'm taking, I think this is called Prairie Gray. This is also by DIY, and I am going to go in with another makeup brush and paint the stem. To clear this, we are just going to use like a polyacrylic. You could use Mod Podge if you want, but DIY paints are water soluble. You guys know what I'm trying to say. So if this ever got wet and it didn't have a clear coat on it, it would essentially wash away. So that is why we are putting a clear coat on top of it. So next we need to grab our piece of wood. We're going to lay our fabric down, and I am going to take these, I think they're furniture tacks. I don't know, you guys could tell me down in comments, I'm sure you know. I'm using my pliers to help hold it in place, and then I'm going to use my hammer to hammer it in. These went in nice and easy, and I thought it was a great way of putting my own touch on her idea. So look at how good this looks, you guys, and the paint is still gonna dry down. I love the way this turned out. Now we're gonna grab the IOD letter stamps, and I'm gonna try it a different way. So I watched Sonnet's Bloom and Garden. You guys have, I've mentioned her before, and she pre-places like her letters out on the like piece of wood that she's gonna be stamping on versus how I usually do it. And then she takes her mat and she sticks the letters on there, and then she puts the ink on. So I am taking a sponge, I am brushing on some white chalk paint, and then I am going to tap that over my letters. Now she just brushes it over these stamps, but I was like, oh, that's too messy. I can't commit to doing that. So I needed to do it a little neater. So this is what I came up with. Now I'm going to turn that around, and I'm going to press that down onto my wood. It's okay if it doesn't absolutely come out perfect the entire time. You could always apply more paint onto your stamps or take them off one at a time. So you could see I like laid it over again, but I just didn't get enough paint on certain sections. So I just get that stamp and I put it over once again, and then that's it, you guys. How cute. I'm so digging this rustic look. I am probably going to be painting over these stamps a lot more often because I love that you can still see all of the details in there. So thank you so much for the inspiration. The faces of this off, and the reason I'm doing that is because I do want to shellac this. It is old. I just don't want to take the risk of any kind of tannins or old oils coming through. So do it right the first time, then I won't have to go back, right? So we're going to tape all of that off, and then I shellacked it. I'm going in with Queen Bee and my Perfectionist brush. The Perfectionist brush has a beautiful tip on the bottom that helps get into corners, small details. It is absolute perfection, no pun intended. And I'm gonna do one solid coat all the way around. Now, y'all, if you have not gotten your DIY paintbrushes, do it, because the price is going to change. They actually did change for a lot of people a while ago. I was just lucky enough to get a bunch of the brushes at the lower price. but once those have sold out, then I have to blah, 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 blah. I need to go up in my prices. So make sure you grab them now if you want them. So we're going to go all the way around. I just do a messy coat of the paint to start off. And then the second coat of paint, after this completely dries, I am going to stipple the paint on. Y'all know I have a phobia about paintbrush strokes, so that's why I like to stipple. Now I'm just taking a baby wipe and I'm going to wet distress this. I didn't know Bree's idea was to add black wax to it. I didn't want to commit to that yet. So what I decided to do was wet distress it first. I'm just rubbing the high points and then just kind of doing it until I like the way that it looks. And after this, I'm going to apply Big Top. I thought this was the way to go. That way, if I thought it needed more, I could still apply the black wax over Big Top. If I had applied the wax first, you cannot put Big Top over that, okay? Keep that in mind. So I decided the Big Top, and then I can make the decision on the black wax later. Well, after I was done with the Big Top, I decided it was absolute perfection as it is. Now, you guys, this turned out so beautiful. It matches perfectly with the florals on the frame of, look at that, of the clock. This would make for beautiful fall decor, everyday home decor. It is stunning. It even had little round clasps on the side that I ended up cutting off, but and it works. However, somebody needs to go behind there and adjust things because it sounds wonky, but it plugs in and it works. So you guys, I hope you love this one, and it was such an easy flip. You guys, I was debating not even putting this in here, but I was like, somebody might get a kick out of it and think it's fun. So I'm going to take one of these little skinny wood spindles, and I'm going to take twine and I'm going to wrap this around my hand over and over and over and over and over and over again. You want it super thick. So I had seen something on Pinterest, and it was like these little witches brooms, and it almost looked like twine, but like tassel form. And I found it on Amazon. There was one left. I ordered it. It never came, of course. And then when I went to go back to the link, they didn't have any more. So I was like, now I want to make this. So how? So this is how I decided to do it. So after you create your, I'll say quote unquote tassel, you're going to split it in the middle and you're going to hold that on there. Well, no, we're going to put some hot glue in there first. So put some hot glue in the middle. Obviously, all of that twine isn't in that glue. I was just needing it to attach to the spindle so that I could hold it in place. Then I'm going to take more twine and we are going to hot glue a piece of it to the top over here. So it seriously looks like we're making a tassel here, except we're attaching it to the spindle. We're going to wrap this around and around. This is going to catch all of that twine on the sides, which did not catch into the glue. And then we are going to tack that off in the back with some more hot glue. And I want you guys to watch me do this over and over again. So these are fun. You guys could use wooden dowels as well if you don't have spindles. And then I'm going to cut the twine at the bottom. I'm going to fluff it on out. And then we created a little witch's broom. So tell me what you guys think. I think these would be great for bowl fillers at like a booth or a craft fair. Also just for your decor. You'll see how I use it right here. And even like this, I think it's cute. And like I said, if you don't have a spindle, you could use a wood dowel. Ooh, you could even use like an old like silverware, like a spoon or a fork or a butter knife. Oh, that would be cute too, you guys.